Hello and welcome to today's video. In today's video I'm going to make cheese from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. So I did get a bunch of reference photos here of cheese. Some of them are from the cartoon and some are, with actual 3D objects that I thought would help me figure out this little guy's, shape and everything, but I'm realizing he's pretty inconsistent. His arm length change, he has these weird legs and feet. They're kind of inverted a little bit, and it's just kind of, like I said, inconsistent. So I'm just using one reference photo and trying to go off of that. So the first thing I'm going to do is use some heavy gauge wire to make an armature, and I'm using some smaller, thinner craft wire to secure those together. Now I don't want those to shift as I'm building it up with foil, so I heated up some Thibra thermoplastic to lock those in place. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go ahead and cover the body with some aluminum foil. So I'm just going to bulk this up until I have the general shape that I want for cheese. This is a lot cheaper than making it all out of thermoplastic, and it would be, silly to do that. So here, I'm pretty happy with this. And he's, like I said, he's going to be a pretty big figure by the time I add that giant noggin of his. So now I'm just going to bulk up until I'm happy with the size of his head. Make sure it's somewhat, in proportion with his smaller body. Now that I've got the body all shaped out, I'm going to heat up some Thibra and cover the entire foil sculpture with the Thibra. So the first layer of Thibra here, you can see really kind of forms around the foil, and you can even see the texture underneath it, which is not what I necessarily want, because cheese is, he's this imaginary friend, but he doesn't show like any kind of texture. He doesn't have like fur or scales or anything, that's visible in the cartoon. So I wanted to make him somewhat smooth, but I'm not worried about having him super smooth. So I went ahead and covered his right arm with some Thibra, and I'm just using it the thickness of the foil because he's very, got these very stringy arms. And then I moved on to make his little toesies. So he's got 3 toes, so I used the wire in the middle for the middle toe and then added 2 toes on each side. And I was really happy because even though he's got this giant noggin and these weird shaped feet, he stands on his own. You can see here I've got on this little temporary base, and that worked out really well. I decided to add some more Thibra onto him to smooth it out to give me the look that I want, and then I'm using a permanent magic marker to sketch out his face. So I want to know where his eyes and his mouth are going to be, make sure that they fit in there and they look proportionate to the artwork in the cartoon. Once I've got his eyes all shaped out, I'm going to go ahead and use my ball tool to kind of squish down the middles of them and give it, kind of a recessed look when I go in there and add his actual eyeballs. Now I'm just going to smooth out some different parts and move on to his left arm. His left arm does not have a wire in it. I am just using some Thibra, rolling it up into kind of a straight snake, getting it the size and the length. Well, the length is part of the size. Size and shape that I want it to be. And once I'm happy with that, I'll go ahead and attach that over to Cheese's body. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now I'm just going to heat it up the end of it. I lied. I'm not heating up the end. What am I doing here? I need to pay attention. Okay, I'm going to make fingers. That's what I'm going to do. I think making the fingers first would be better, because then I can attach them and don't have to attach them while they're on the body, even though I don't have a choice with the one that's outstretched. So I've got these really thin little snakes of Thibra, cutting them up and giving him his nice, long fingers, but not too long. So I'm going to shorten them, which gives me more fingers, because, if you have long fingers, you have twice as many short fingers. I'm going to go ahead and heat those up, and they kind of jump around on me, and attach them to the end of his arm, which I'm also going to heat up so they kind of merge. How do I want to adhere to it, and get them all attached. So now I'm going to attach his left arm, just heating up both sections, squishing it in there, and smoothing it out so I'm happy with it and it looks like it's all one piece. So now I want to do the eyes, and the eyes I'm going to make out of Worbla Deco Art. And so Worbla Deco Art comes in these little pellets. Heat them up in a glass container, and you can tell they're hot enough because they'll become translucent. And even though they are hot, you can touch them, but you want to be careful if you work with them or working with any thermoplastics, because heating up stuff can burn you. So now I'm shaping out the eyes, sticking them into place, get them both in there, and then I can move on to the pupils. So I'm just using some black Worbla so that way I don't have to paint on there, and I'm just going to roll out some of my black Worbla into 2 little dots And then cheese has this kind of off-centered look. I don't know what's going on, but there's something not right with this guy. So the next thing I'm going to do is make Cheese's hair. He's got these little strands of hair sticking out of the top of his head, and they're just like little spikes. So I thought I would use some black Worbla again, and then I wouldn't have to paint those. And so what I'm going to do is I've got those all done, cooled off, and I'm heating up the top and then kind of poking him in the head with my needle tool. And I thought I could just then stick them in there, heat it up, and have it, them adhere there, and I'm all set. And I don't have to, like I said, worry about painting them or anything else. So they should be all good. All right, so now that I'm done sculpting cheese, I'm going to go ahead and add a layer of surface prep. So I'm just using my clear gesso, not clear gesso, my white gesso. Wow. So anywho's, I'm just going to add my gesso and then get him all covered. Once that's dry, I'm going to go ahead and start painting him. So I'm just using some acrylic paint, painting his entire body, getting him all covered. Look at how cute he is. So now I'm gonna make his face. So he's got these rings around these eyes. So it's just some black. It's like, they just draw them around there, kind of how they make the eyes, but it's more exaggerated than just a circle around it. And then he's got kind of this nice smile, so I did that. And now I'm gonna make his base. So I want to make it a little bit thicker than one sheet of Worbla, so I'm gonna use four sheets is thicker than one, so I'm going to use 4 circles that I cut out using that little container's lid for the shape, so they're consistent, heating them all up so they are together, and bonding them, and smoothing out the edge so it doesn't look like it was 4 pieces. Then I'm going to heat it up and heat the bottom of his feet and stick them on there. And now we will look at the finished cheese. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I'm kind of a spaz today as I'm recording this, but I'm just gonna go with it. Maybe it'll be more entertaining than what I've done before. I don't know. I'm inconsistent. I know that. So I hope you guys liked it. I had a lot of fun making this project. It was a special request, so I hope the person who got it really enjoys it. Alright guys, well thank you so much for watching today's video. If you want to see other cartoon characters created out of thermoplastic or clay, leave it in the comments below. And remember, never stop creating. Bye!